the best that was, the best that ever will be. There'll be none before me, and there'll be none after me. Therefore, I am the one and only Jay Covey, and welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got an action-packed week this week with your news of the week, followed by your SmackDown and your Raw reviews, and then a view of Backlash 2008. We have your drink of the week, followed by a classic title review, and then the Battle Droid of the week. Let's get into the news this week, though, as the details of The Rock's contract has been revealed. Apparently, he'll be paid in TKO equity. $30 million in TKO equity has been transferred to The Rock's account. It remains unclear the entire compensation or when, in the event of termination, what would happen. So, still a lot to be revealed from the contract, but the main thing is the equity for TKO. That is a lot of money he's getting. So, hey, he's The Rock. And unfortunately, a little sad news is Dominic Mysterio has suffered an injury, just like Rhea Ripley. It doesn't know how long he'll be on the shelf, but apparently this injury is legitimate. He was sporting it on Monday Night Raw this week. So apparently, Dominic Mysterio is out injured. And the final news, as WWE has released a slew of superstars, including Jinder Mahal, Xia Li, Zion Quinn, Veer Mahan, Sangha, Von Wagner, and Cameron Grimes. The ones I really feel sorry for is Cameron Grimes and Von Wagner. I feel sorry for everybody that they lost their job. It sucks. I love Cameron Grimes in NXT. I think he could be he's actually one of the guys who I could see going to AEW and having an amazing career there. It is, I truly believe, more suited for him as a performer. So I could easily see him going to AEW and having one hell of a career. The other one is Von Wagner, and this is why he was heralded as a possible future main eventer for WrestleMania. And now to be in a slew of releases, this sucks. You know, it sucks to see them all go. I loved Xia Li. I love Zion Quinn. I thought Von Wagner was an amazing performer. And I thought Cameron Grimes was truly someone who WWE could push in the mid-card. But unfortunately, these were just people they just never really worked with. I felt that Xia Li was a Vince McMahon fail, as she was called up too soon and just let flounder inside of Monday Night Raw's roster. There was just so much that could have been done for Xia Li there and for Cameron Grimes. As for Von Wagner, I feel that he had so much potential, but just was never given a shot at it. Again, it sucks to see that, but we will hopefully not be the last we hear from these superstars. Let's move on to SmackDown. SmackDown kicked off with LA Knight, versus the phenomenal AJ Styles in a number one contenders match to see who will challenge for the undisputed WWE Championship at Backlash in France. And AJ Styles was able to pick up the win. This is why I love this, is one, you're not feeding LA Knight to Cody Rhodes as his first contender, but also you are getting a dream match, as Cody has called it, as he always said AJ Styles is his dream opponent. So I'm so excited for that. I think it's going to be a great match, and it's one I'm looking forward wholeheartedly to. We then get Triple H revealing the new SmackDown Tag Team Championships to A-Town Down Under. The new titles actually look like the old World Tag Team Championships, so I'm very happy to see that. Theory and Grayson Waller disrespected Triple H and refusing to shake his hand, which led to Nick Aldis just completely unloading on him, putting him in their place. I thought this was great segment. Nick Aldis unloading on Down Under was amazing, and kind of hinting that, hey, maybe he isn't done in the ring. We then get a fatal four-way of the Authors of Pain, New Catch Republic, and Legado de Fantasma and the Street Profits to see who would become the number one contenders for the Tag Team Championships. The Street Profits were able to pick up the win in a nice little fatal four-way match. Again, I'm not really a huge fan of giant tag team matches. You would then get Solo Sikoa talking about losing a brother last week. The fans heavily booed him, chanting, "We want Roman." You would then see Tama Tonga crash into Kevin Owens' car in the parking lot, busting him open. He brought Kevin Owens to the ring. Kevin tried to fight back, but Solo would soon join in. And there was no chance in hell Kevin was winning that. And they will settle this in the ring next week, SmackDown's draft edition of the show. We then get your main event of Bayley versus Naomi, which ended in no contest as Tiffany Stratton interfered to lay out both women. Apparently the talk is it will be a triple threat match at Backlash. This is really building up to be one hell of a show. Let's move on to Raw. As Raw kicked off with World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest and Jey Uso actually showing some respect in the ring. Damian talking about how he respects Jey and how he feels like this is the perfect position for him. But at Backlash, he will be fed to him. JD Madonna then tried to attack Jey from behind, which led to a super kick actually hitting Damian Priest. And let's just say Damian Priest was a little hot backstage. Yeah. We then get Awesome Truth defending their tag team championships, the World Tag Team Championships, against DIY. And a very good match. Really enjoyed this match. Thought it was fun. It's really, DIY actually looked very strong in defeat, so I thought it was a very good match. We then get Gunther showing back up in the ring. You would see Dominic Mysterio backstage, banged up. So that's how they would introduce Dominic's injury. You would see that Gunther make his first appearance since WrestleMania 40, talking about how he's going to enter the King of the Ring, which will take place in Saudi Arabia next month. And after he wins King of the Ring, he will then decide what title he wants next. New Day then came out. This led to a tag team match between the New Day and Imperium of Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. The New Day would pick up the win, leading to Ludwig Kaiser basically expelling Giovanni Vinci from Imperium, having his running attack. It was awesome to see. I thought this was it's sad to see Imperium break up, but at the same time, I thought this was a very cool way to break them up. Ludwig Kaiser looks like a star. And they could build Giovanni Vinci as something else. We then get Drew McIntyre to cut a promo, which was interrupted by Sheamus, as Sheamus said he will be in the King of the Ring. And Drew McIntyre saying he, instead of banger after banger, it's for Sheamus. It looks like it's been burger after burger after burger. I laughed my ass off because Sheamus would then post, if I win King of the Ring, does that make me the Burger King? I thought this was funny. We think it's Sheamus versus Shinsuke Nakamura. In a nice little match, Sheamus would be able to pick up the win. You would then get Chad Gable trying to explain his actions, saying that Zayn and other underperformers, it should have been him at WrestleMania 40. Gable criticized Tozawa, Maxine's repeated losses, Maxine's lack of intelligence, Otis' failures to meet expectations. Gable demanded that every member of Alpha Academy must help him win the Intercontinental title at No Way Out, and made Otis must win the Intercontinental title no matter what it takes, and made Otis say it aloud. Again, I don't see this. We then get Ricochet and Andrade versus Santos Escobar and JD McDonough in a losing effort, as Ricochet and Andrade would pick up the win. After the match, Damian Priest attacked Ricochet and Andrade. Priest told Dominic and JD that he doesn't need them, they need him. You finally get your main event of the evening of a battle royal, including for the women's world title, including people like Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, Natalya, Nia Jax, Maxine Dupree, Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Ivy Nile. This was an over-the-top battle royal, which would last come down to Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch would pick up the win after last eliminating Liv Morgan. Now, people are viewing this with anger, for one, and as a misstep in WWE. I agree with it being a misstep. I don't think we should view it with anger. I'm not angry at this, I just don't agree with it. I think Becky Lynch is a very smart person to have win it. I just don't think she should have the last eliminated Liv, and I view that it should have been Liv to someone else to win this. Becky Lynch coming back from vacation, saying like, you know what, I'll cut my vacation short. I'll come back and I'm gonna help this division keep its momentum going since Rhea got hurt, because that sucks. But Becky Lynch trying to do the right thing and say, I'm coming back to help the women's division keep its momentum going. I thought that was awesome. There's still a lot that needs to be desired from this, but I thought this was a fun Raw and a fun SmackDown. I really enjoyed the Women's Battle Royal. Becky Lynch winning the title is not something I'm happy about, but it's not something I'm mad about. And now it's time for our classic pay-per-view review. In the 150th episode of Wrestling Made Simple, ladies and gentlemen. 150. I've been doing this for 150 weeks. Jesus Christ. I'm going back to Backlash 2008, again following what is considered one of my favorite WrestleManias of all time, WrestleMania 24. It kicked off with a dark match of John Morrison and The Miz versus Jimmy Wang Yang and Shannon Moore. John Morrison and The Miz would pick up the win. That's all that's really known about this dark match. Nothing really else to say. We then get MVP Montel Vontavious Porter defending his title against Matt Hardy. This would be for the United States Championship, as these two would be embezzled in a blood feud that started with MVP kind of taking Matt Hardy out. Matt Hardy returning at WrestleMania, costing MVP the Money in the Bank. Matt Hardy would pick up the win in a nice little 8-minute match, 11-minute match to become the new United States Champion. We then get Kane, your ECW champion at the time, versus Chavo Guerrero in a singles match for the ECW Championship. Chavo Guerrero losing it to Kane at WrestleMania 24. Kane would pick up the win here in an 8-minute match, which was longer than their 42nd match at WrestleMania. After this, we get, well, it's the Big Show versus the Great Khali in an 8-minute match, which is 7 minutes and 59 seconds too long for the Great Khali. The Big Show would pick up the merciful win in this match. Less said about that, the better. We would then get Shawn Michaels versus Batista with Chris Jericho as a special guest referee. Chris Jericho having problems with both of these guys in his career. I thought this was a fun match. I thought Shawn Michaels and Batista was actually a feud that could have been really more built on for a WrestleMania match. Batista really going after Shawn Michaels because Batista was friends with Ric Flair, and Ric Flair was basically retired by Shawn Michaels. Yeah. Shawn Michaels would pick up the win by pinfall over Batista in a 14-minute match. I really did enjoy this, so it was fun. We then get a 12 Diva Tag Team match, 6-on-6, Beth Phoenix, Jillian Hall, Layla, Melina, Natalia, and Victoria versus Ashley Mazzaro, rest in peace, Cherry, Kelly, Maria, Michelle McCool, and Mickie James. Funny that we would see Michelle McCool and Layla going against each other, going to where they would be as co-women champions. It's funny to look at that. Team Phoenix would pick up the win, and the less said about this match, the better. It was women's wrestling in 2008, unfortunately. We then get The Undertaker versus Edge in a rematch from WrestleMania 24. This would be a singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. The Undertaker defending against Edge, and once again picking up the win by submission in a hard-fought 18-minute match. Hell's Gate. This would lead to The Undertaker actually being stripped of the title because Edge's kayfabe wife at the time, Vicky Guerrero, would come out and say that The Undertaker's Hell's Gate submission had been banned. This would lead to Edge winning the title back, and The Undertaker would not hold gold again until, I believe, WrestleMania, going into WrestleMania 26. We then get a fatal four-way match, an elimination match for the WWE Championship in your longest match of the night. Triple H versus JBL, John Cena, and WWE Champion Randy Orton, who retained against John Cena and Triple H at WrestleMania. How many times do you think you would hear that one? It would start off with JBL being eliminated at the 10-minute mark by John Cena with the STFU, which was his submission move at the time. You would then have John Cena be eliminated by Randy Orton at the 10-minute 41-second mark by Randy Orton with a punt to the head. Remember when Randy Orton used that move, it just looked so fucking devastating until Shawn Michaels made it look not devastating. For those of you who don't know, during the pandemic era, Shawn Michaels basically took the punt to the head. It's basically Randy Orton going to lining up and kicking a field goal with someone's head. And Shawn Michaels basically took it and immediately got up. Yeah. So Randy Orton would hit that on John Cena. 1, 2, 3. John Cena is out of there. Triple H and Randy Orton then go on to have a 19-minute singles match, which leads to Randy Orton taking a pedigree and Triple H becoming your WWE champion. I felt this was a little weak, and I felt they should, if they were going to make that change, they should have done it at WrestleMania. But it would set up more of a feud for WrestleMania 25 between these two. Unfortunately, that match is talked about as one of the worst wrestling main events of all time. Yeah. If I had to grade this pay-per-view, it would be a C+. There's great matches, and then there's terrible matches. The Great Khali versus The Big Show and the 12 Diva tag team match come to mind. The great matches, such as Matt Hardy and MVP, in my opinion, and Shawn Michaels and Batista, The Undertaker versus Edge, and your main event. It's just when the bad's there, it's really bad. So it really drags this show down. If there was only one terrible match on this card, I could easily see giving it a B grade. But because of that, unfortunately, Backlash ends up with a C+. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your drink of the week. I am doing a Super Bowl Jungle Juice. Now, this is because it's a party, episode 150. What you're going to need, and this is for a party, not for a single person, unless your name is Ric Flair. 1 bottle of tequila, 1 bottle of vodka, 1 bottle of rum, 1 bottle of peach schnapps, 3/4 of a bottle of blue curacao, 2 bottles of white cranberry peach juice, and 2 bottles of white grape peach juice. Oranges, strawberries. You're going to take a large container, drop your strawberry slices and your orange slices in there, add your liquor and your juices, stir well and serve in a glass, and garnish with some fruit. Now, this is jungle juice. This is made for a party. Please do not drink and drive. Do not drink if you're under 21. And do not overconsume on alcohol. Now, everybody, it's time for a classic title review. I don't break it out often, but when I do, I love to do it. I'm going to be reviewing the Hardcore Championship. One of my newer additions to the collection. I got this for Christmas, and it is amazing. A broken version of the Winged Eagle sits right on top of the belt. It's funny because it actually is missing a piece of the Winged Eagle, which has slid on over. And they put a fake hole there, which is funny. You have fake tape holding across the Hardcore Championship, and it actually does say WWE Hardcore Champion, since the C is missing. You have the broken side plates going across the broken WWE. Everything on it is broken, and it is magnificent. For those of you who don't know, this championship was given to Mick Foley by Vince McMahon, a.k.a. Vince. Mick Foley was at the time Mankind, and it would basically be a 24/7 title. 24/7, you have the chance to challenge for it anywhere, anytime, any rules. It was defended at multiple WrestleManias with multiple winners. Kane would actually walk out of WrestleMania 17 with this. Just goes to show how great WrestleMania 17 was. And this title actually almost ended WrestleMania 17 as technically your main event. As when the Big Show, Kane, and Raven were fighting around the arena for it, they almost ran over a power line and caused a blackout at WrestleMania 17 in the Astrodome. So it's a funny little thing to think that this title actually almost main evented a WrestleMania. It's a really cool replica. It's amazing. Has some great little weight to it. It's got like the fake spray paint on top. It's just designed to look like crap, but I love it. This title is amazing and has quickly become one of my favorites in my collection. I recommend this to any legit wrestling collector. I think this is a great title to have in your possession. And now, everybody, it is time for episode 150, Battle Droid of the Week. Oh, the Battle Droid of the Week, I don't even know his name. I just saw a video on Twitter of this guy. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're wrestling fans. Of course we know this isn't a real thing. Of course we know wrestling is predetermined. Now, when I say it isn't real, that doesn't mean these guys are doing fake crap. It is a beautiful performance art. It is art. What these guys do is unbelievable. And I think sometimes we get a little too invested in the show. But we gotta be able to separate reality from fiction. The accident that happened to Rhea Ripley sucks. It does. But this guy on Twitter, I'm not going to even say his name because, one, I don't know it, and two, he doesn't deserve to have his name out there, was praying that Liv, while coming down the ramp, tears her ACL or becomes paralyzed. Now, my cousin just tore his ACL and is in the hospital. He has to have surgery done to it. He is a 13-year-old boy. And looks painful. It looks terrible. I've never torn my ACL, so I wouldn't know how it feels, but I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I wouldn't wish injury. I wouldn't wish paralyzation. There are people there in this industry who have gone through paralyzation. Ask Stone Cold Steve Austin. There are people, ask Edge, who almost went into being paralyzed. No one fucking deserves that. And you who think it's okay to wish that on people, dude, you're not even a wrestling fan. You're just a terrible, terrible person who needs help. And because of that, you are the Battle Droid of the Week. For episode 150, dude. Congratulations.
Uh-oh.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. Episode 150. This is awesome. Thank you so much. I want to thank my dad, my biggest supporter in this, my mom, my family, Grandpa Joe, who isn't here anymore, and my grandpa, who passed away about a month ago. They're right here. They got the best seat in the house. And my grandma. I hope I'm making you guys proud. My friends who've been listening, thank you. Wrestling has always been an escape for me nowadays, and so is this podcast. And whether one person, no one, 1,000, million, I don't care who listens to it. That could just be me just sitting here talking. Episode 150 is crazy, and I thank you for the support. Thank you for everything. Good night. Enjoy this week in wrestling. Next week we'll have my Backlash predictions, and we'll go into what I think the show's going to be. Have a good week in wrestling.